This sitting is resumed.
And then you report from select committees.
Extension you want.
That's it.
Honourable Member for City Bridgetown.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following resolutions. A resolution to seek the concurrence of the Honourable, the House of Assembly, in the amendments made by the Honourable, the Senate, to the Utilities Regulations Amendment Bill 2019, and a resolution to approve under Section 5 of the Crown Lands Vesting and Disposal Act, Cap 225, the vesting in Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. of the parcel of land, the property of the Crown, situated at Bay Street in the parish of St. Michael in this island, more particularly described for the public purpose of tourism development. Committees?
Honourable Member for St. Joseph.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to crave the indulgence of this chamber. Colleagues, members of the chamber would remember that in June of last year, the first reading and second reading of the Integrity and Public Life Bill took place. Immediately thereafter, we went to Select Committee, and the work of the Select Committee is substantially finished, sir. But the preparation of legislation is something that is quite painstaking. And I think we are almost at the end of the drafting work. The next step would be for the completed draft to go back to the Select Committee for its final approval. Taking into account, sir, the strong possibility of a recess for the summer of this chamber, I'm unable to say exactly what day that is likely to be, so I'm asking the chamber to agree to the extension of the life of the committee until the 31st of October. I fully anticipate that at no later than either the first or second sitting after we resume, we'd be able to lay it, but I'd rather ask for a longer period and come in early than to run myself into difficulty. So I'm asking the chamber to agree, sir, that we extend the life of the Joint Select Committee on the Integrity and Public Life Bill to October 31st, 2019.
The question is that the aforementioned bill be extended, the Select Committee to be extended until the 31st day of October 2019. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. The aforementioned Select Committee is extended, therefore, until 31st October 2019.
Revert to government business. In order number 6, in the name of the Honourable Attorney General, to move the passing of a resolution to seek the concurrence of the Honourable the House of Assembly in the amendments made by the Honourable the Senate to the Utilities Regulations Amendment Bill 2019.
Honourable Member St. Joseph.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House do resolve that we concur with the Honourable the Senate in the amendment that they made, that other place made to the Utilities Regulations Amendment Bill of 2019. Sir, just to recapitulate, when the bill left this chamber, it left the chamber without the word regulations in the schedule and in the title. And the Senate quite astutely spotted that omission. It is ordinarily something that would be done by law review, but in this instance, sir, the Law Review Commission is not quite up and running yet, so we can't wait for that eventuality to come into being, and therefore the Senate made the amendment in that honourable chamber. I'm therefore asking that this House concur in that amendment.
The question is that this House concur. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. We think the ayes have it.
Order number 7, sir. In the name of the Honourable Minister of Housing, Lands and Rural Development, to move the passing of a resolution to approve under Section 5 of the Crown Lands Vesting and Disposal Act, Chapter 225, the vesting in the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. of the parcel of land, the property of the Crown, situate at Bay Street in the parish of St. Michael in this island, more particularly described for the public purpose of tourism development.
Honourable Member for St. Andrew.
Mr. Speaker, this resolution before the House is to seek approval to vest the aforementioned land in the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. Mr. Speaker, we've had extensive debate on this particular resolution lasting for almost a day, and I do not propose to repeat the substance of that debate. Suffice it to say that on the 14th of May, the House approved the acquisition of the said parcel of land, and the publication of the relevant notice under Section 5 of the Land Acquisition Act has been completed. In such circumstances, the land is now vested in the Crown. The Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. has undertaken a number of projects in Barbados in an effort to continue to push the frontiers of tourism development in the country. And these projects are all in keeping with the mandate of the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. to develop a portfolio of tourism-related properties on its own or in joint venture with private and public partners, to manage the implementation of the urban rehabilitation program, and to facilitate both public and private sector-owned investment in tourism and hospitality and the hospitality sector in Barbados. Therefore, in keeping with this mandate, the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. continues to facilitate investment in the tourism sector, while at the same time working with partners local and international to assist in regenerating and revitalizing Bridgetown. Indeed, the Physical Development Plan 2017 for Bridgetown includes encouraging reinvestment along Bay Street and promoting redevelopment of key sites for tourism investment, including hotels, restaurants, attractions, and coastal open spaces.
including the Pierhead, Needham's Point, and Ink Street. This particular parcel of land is part of, or rather is one of 6 properties that will form what will be known as the Hyatt project. 2 of those parcels were vested in the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc. prior to 2019. One 566.5 square meters at the corner of Bay Street and Wellington Street, and another parcel of land measuring 2,833 square meters of land where the former Bridge Harbor Police Station was located. Earlier this year, we also had 69 square meters of land in the area of the public drain on Bay Street, and 486.7 square meters in Bay Street also vested in the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc. This property will supplement the property in the area of Deco Motors, which is owned by the company Visions Inc., the company which is supposed to construct the hotel. And together with all these six properties will be the investment for the Hyatt project. Mr. Speaker, with those brief remarks, I move that this resolution do not pass.
The question is that the aforementioned resolution be no pass. All those honorable members in favor, please say aye.
No, don't worry about it. Wait a minute, what?
Honorable member for Christchurch East.
Mr. Speaker, I raise to support the resolution. We are at a point now, Mr. Speaker, in Barbados that we have to do what is necessary to encourage and take the development forward that is going to save Barbados. Only a blind man, sir, with a bad mind cannot see the progress that has taken place in Barbados within the last year, 12 months. You just have to go down by Waterford and drive down what was an overgrown, a densely overgrown, and I would say dangerous passage between that school out there in Waterford.
Can you be more specific, honorable member? Just for clarity, can you be more specific?
That other school down there in Waterford, sir, and Huddersfield turning.
And honorable member has no name?
Sir, the last spelling that I saw from the Honourable Attorney General, sir, was C-A-W-M-E-R-E. And that tells me everything I need to know about the school and everything it represents. But we digress, sir. The point is, you simply have to travel along what was Waterford Bottom and is now Waterford Boulevard to see the difference that has taken place in Barbados. If you go and venture further into the botanical gardens, it was a brilliant idea, sir, by the Honourable Prime Minister and the Honourable Member for St. Michael East to convert that into a proper botanical gardens park type place that can be used for recreational purposes. It presents a beautiful vista and it encourages family development and family recreation. Sir, to think that a previous administration wanted to turn that into a solar park. Now, I'm the Minister for Energy, and I wish at every turn possible to encourage the development of energy and alternative renewable sources of energy in Barbados. And as much as I would like to see solar panels all about Barbados on every available spot that doesn't have another purpose, the thought of 10 megawatts of solar energy in what is now the Botanical Gardens and will be hosting some of the major events for crop over, sir, is an aberration. If we go further and drive down the highway, we can see the work that the Honourable member for Christchurch West has been doing in Barbados. If we look at what is happening with the schools, we are about to embark upon one of the most comprehensive school upgrading programs in recent years over this vacation. Sir, if we look at agriculture, we're making great strides, sir, in agriculture. In every aspect, we've created a Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Blue Economy. I happened to pass through Oistins, sir, on Sunday as I went to buy my fish. Half of Oistins is blocked off, is plastered off, like creating a barrier. But being the Bajan that I am, sir, I had a peek. When I took a little Petri plastic and I saw what was inside, it just had easy plastic and going a little bit more. I'm not advocating that anybody should do the same thing. But I'm saying, sir, that when I saw the transformation that is taking place in the Oistins fish market, sir, as I said, it would have to be someone motivated by a bad mind to say that nothing is happening. These are all the necessary incidences of development, sir, that we need to not just have, but we also need to herald. The Honourable member, the Minister of Health, sir, has been trying his best with the QEH. It is not going to happen overnight. But the waiting times have been reduced. We don't have a polyclinic open 24 hours. They're looking at regulating what happens in the geriatric hospitals. Sir, almost in every single ministry, there has been a step forward. The same has to happen for tourism development. We have a situation, sir, in Barbados where, interestingly, a lot of our prime real estate is taken up by activities or businesses that need not occupy that space. If we look at the police station out there, I think it's Worthing Police Station out there by the garrison. Hastings Police Station out there by the garrison. There is no good reason that a police station should occupy prime real estate that could be better used for hotel. We look at the police station in Holdong Police Station. Why are they there? Historically, sir, Barbadians did not want to build on the beach side because people were afraid of hurricanes and the development was not really encouraged on the beach side. So you had the larger houses inland and the beachfront property used to go very cheap. My father enjoys telling me how cheap beachfront property was when he was a child and nobody wanted to put their house on the beach. So you have a situation where a lot of government offices and a lot of businesses cropped up on the beach side. Well, sir, it has now inverted. Our major business in Barbados is tourism. Tourism is one of the things that is going to take Barbados forward. It is responsible for the rejuvenation of our economy. A redevelopment of the tourism product is an essential part of placing Barbados firmly on that map and being a serious player in the tourism landscape. So we now need to look at what we have and figure out how best can it be used. One of the biggest issues, or one of the issues, sir, that you encounter all the time in Barbados is things are done a certain way because they were always done a certain way. So the justification for doing is the fact that it is done. We fill out forms in Barbados. A lot of the forms are unnecessary. They hamper business. They add another layer of red tape to processes that are already floundering. And why do we do it? Because it has already been done. Last week, sir, I came back into the country from overseas on government business. And because of the discussions that we've had in cabinet, because of what I know has been passed here, I did not fill out the form coming back in because the forms are no longer necessary coming through the airport. I came in, I went with my passport to the kiosk, put my passport on the kiosk, and so that was a pleasurable experience. That was done in about 30 seconds. Got the 2 slips of paper, went to the desk, and the lady at the desk asked me, "Where's your form?" I said, "What form?" "You're supposed to fill out a form." I said, "No, you're not." She said, "Sir, you're supposed to fill out the form." I said, I went to the kiosk, I have these 2 slips of paper, I understand these contain everything that you need to know, make it work. At which point she took my passport, stamped it, and I went along. But understand, she asked me for that. And had I not known that it was not necessary, I would have gone and filled out a form and come back in. We keep doing things, sir, that have no purpose because they were always done. When we drive along Highway 7, we pass the Hastings Police Station. We then pass St. Anne's Fort. Well, we can't move St. Anne's Fort. That has historical significance. We come along down, sir. We pass a whole set of buildings before we reach government headquarters that need not be on that side. Then CZ, Coastal Zone Management Unit, their abandoned building. We go a little bit further down, we pass the same liquidation center, Deco Motors, things that there is no benefit to be gained from having a business that sells furniture on the oceanfront property. There's none. There's no business, there's no benefit to be gained from having a car dealership on oceanfront property. There's no benefit to be gained by having a police station on oceanfront property. If those, the BTMI car park and the Hilton car park, they need not be there. We now have to think. The one thing that's not being created in Barbados, sir, is any more beachfront. The beachfront property that we have now is the beachfront property that we're going to have to the end of time, unless we build islands. So no more is being created. We need now to figure out how to make the best use of that precious asset that we do have. In the ideal world, everybody would see the big picture and would take a reasonable offer if asked to, you don't need to be here. Can we move you somewhere else? Because this is now zoned for development. There is a master plan that doesn't just involve this property, lot 1, but it involves lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the master plan. It is a holistic plan designed to enfranchise Barbadians, to change the landscape, to alter the coastal landscape and the coastal development, to encourage business, to promote our tourism product. It is designed to do all of these things. But it comes as one plan. If it is necessary, sir, for the government to develop and to acquire for development, then it has to be done. The one thing I would say, sir, is that the government needs to be very careful. And the Minister of Housing, I know to be a man, we've spoken about this, sir. When the government compulsorily acquires land from somebody, the government needs to pay that person in sufficient time that they can actually enjoy the fruits of their investments. Sometimes it's difficult to part with a piece of property that you willingly part with. I may have a property in my family, sir, and I've been holding on to my piece of the rock, trying to pass it on to my children or to my grandchildren. But if circumstances dictate and I have to sell it, it is hard enough for me to let go of that, but at least I get the benefit of a fair market value that I could then buy something else or reinvest or benefit the same people I wanted to benefit. So I used to, when I was in another life, I used to have a serious issue when the government compulsorily acquired land and didn't pay people and didn't pay the landholder, the landowner for their property. So where the occasion arises that we are compelled in the national interest to compulsorily acquire somebody's land, which is one of the most severe things the government can be doing. It is a responsibility not to be undertaken lightly. When circumstances and national interests dictate that land be acquired for public purposes or for national development, then it is incumbent upon us to do what is right and compensate the person fairly for their land in as quick a time as possible. That is the one caveat I have with that. Once that is done, once that is understood, then the public purpose has to come above private interests. It is a national development plan. I'm excited. We had meetings on the western side, sir, in the conference room on the western wing of Parliament, where the development plan was laid out for us, where the hotels were going to go, what they're going to look at. We're going to look at attracting big names. We want to have a signature hotel on the point. This wasn't a willy-nilly thing. This was put together in a comprehensive, cohesive fashion, where one aspect of it depended on the next aspect. It all knitted together that by the time we were finished, our Barbados tourism product is going to be held in the same esteem as Dubai with their islands, at other landmark cities for their development. How the plan was incorporated with the heritage designation, the World Heritage designation, also was amazing. I have perhaps never seen that amount of thought go into a policy or a plan that it had to be started, and I know it was started before we came to government. So before we even embarked upon that election of 24th of May 2018, the plan was put into action. What do we need to do to take Barbados forward? After the elections, after we came into government, it was tweaked, it was retweaked. Further consultation on a wider basis was had. The plan was settled, the plan was perfected. And one part of that plan was the development of that stretch of Bay Street under which the property that is being acquired falls. Sir, as I said, unless one is activated by a bad mind, at the end of the day, if anybody has sight of that plan, and anyone knows what's in store in that plan, we can have nothing but good hopes and comfort and confidence in the development of that plan to the benefit of Barbadians. Sir, as I said, I don't believe in the compulsory acquisition of anything unless there is a just cause to do it. In this particular circumstance, sir, I think the national interest in this case must trump. And I look forward to having completed the acquisition, that the development start as soon as possible, because that development of Lower Bay Street, sir, is going to bring jobs, it's going to bring money into the economy, it is going to help to stimulate growth in Barbados, it is going to let people know that we've gotten off the ground, we've stabilized the economy, we've gotten our debt under control. The central bank is doing what it's supposed to do. I have full confidence in the Minister of Finance and the Minister in the Ministry of Finance. All of the indicators are there that we are going in the right direction. All the IMF reports, the Standard & Poor's assessments, all are hearkening and pointing to the fact that we are moving in the right direction. But being a Bajan, sir, I like to see things. And we in Barbados measure progress and prosperity by growth. I like to see the house coming out the ground. I like to see it going. I like to see the first floor and then the second floor. So, sir, I think a lot of Barbadians and most Barbadians are going to start to feel very comfortable when they see the development get past the stage of concept to the stage of construction. And this is a necessary part of that. So for all of those reasons, sir, and because I have bought into the dream of what Bay Street and Bridgetown is going to look like, I have bought into that dream, and I'm excited not just for myself, sir, but for my children, my grandchildren, my godchildren, and the future of Barbados. So without more, sir, I say, without a doubt, that I wholeheartedly support this resolution, and I commend the Minister for Housing for his courage in bringing it and doing what is necessary to get Barbados and its growth moving forward. Sorry, thank you.
Honourable Member for St. James. So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much to the Honourable Member for St. Andrew. I rise to support this because every time I hear about it, I get excited by the possibilities that it presents for Barbados. And when I look at what we're doing as a government, there is so much in train about to unfold that will present opportunities for our young people, present opportunities for those who are unemployed, and I'm looking forward to it. I sat down and I wrote a list, Mr. Speaker, on the things that are opening in Barbados, and I recognize that as an MP, I have to do work in my constituency to prepare my people for what is about to unfold. And this resolution that we're moving today represents a piece in that puzzle. On Sunday, I went into the constituency talking with the young people and the people who are interested in jobs. I started to share with them what were some of the things that were unfolding that would give them opportunities in this Barbados, just as this particular resolution will present opportunities for them. And I was able to list off to them that we're looking at things like the Sea Cadets, the Princess Trust, that we're looking at doing the wells, we're looking at doing the electricals, we're looking at a Civil Defense Corps, we're looking at a First Jobs Initiative, and we're looking for the investments that will come in tourism and in other areas of our economic sectors that we're looking forward to having occur between now and the end of next year that will provide jobs and opportunities for Barbadians. And this particular resolution here, as was well explained by the Honourable Member for St. Andrew and the Honourable Member for Christchurch East, represents an opportunity not just for external investment into Barbados, foreign direct investment, but it provides an opportunity for ordinary Barbadians to be a part of the revitalization of the Bay Street area. I went to the country of Curacao, and I went to their garrison area. And they have so developed that area and made it a modern, thriving place for tourism activity, for business activity. And you saw ordinary people from Curacao having businesses there and tourists interacting. And when I saw it, I said, we need that in Barbados. So I was excited when this plan to redevelop Bay Street, starting all the way from up Savannah all the way down, because I could see that we could create the type of space that could make all the difference to tourism and all the difference to our young people. And why is this important, especially for our young people? Young people have suffered the most when it comes to economic crises that are of a prolonged nature. Young people get severe and protracted delays in their growth and development when they should be advancing in their education, when they should be getting career opportunities in their area of choice, when they should be looking to build their own homes, when they should be looking to acquire cars, when they should be starting their families. They find themselves locked in an economic crisis that chokes and kills all of their dreams. Therefore, the efforts that we are making as a government to revitalize the economy of Barbados and to present opportunities that will create areas for our young people to get work and to do their own investments is very, very welcome to me. Now, that particular strip, Mr. Speaker, requires that there is planning to ensure maximum participation by Barbadians in the opportunities. And that is why it is necessary that we begin now, that we have entrepreneurial training, that we intensify those efforts that are already being made by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, that are being made by the Ministry of Commerce with the trust loans and the financial management training, because we need to be able to get them ready to be able to see themselves as a part of that Bay Street development. I want some of our young entrepreneurs. I had the privilege of going to the Barbados Manufacturers Association, BMEX, exhibition that they had at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. And the number of young entrepreneurs that had developed products of quality, products that could hold their own any part of the world. If we were able to redevelop that area and we were able to engage the potential investment in tourism to consider these products to be a part of what they offer to guests and tourists, visitors and locals alike, it could do much to enhance that particular sector and give hope to young entrepreneurs, young manufacturers, to know that there's a place for them and there's a place for their products in Barbados, that their products can be attractive to people who live in other places, and therefore it will give them the confidence even to export, because if their products are well received by visitors, they know they will be well received overseas. So training has to be a part of it. We also need to identify and plan out to provide additional resources to be able to finance some of the enterprises that would want to gather in that Bay Street area. There are persons who would want to start their own little restaurants. They might want to do their special sweet treats using Barbadian products, using Barbadian fruit. They may want to do street food, doing it Barbadian style. Some of them may want to do baked treats. Some may want to have their own clothing line, their own boutiques. We have lots and lots of entrepreneurs who want to engage in these types of activities and to be a part of what will be happening in the redevelopment of Bay Street. But in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, one of the things I look forward to is having spaces for theatre and performances along that corridor. Barbados is replete with highly talented persons. I remember going to Oistins, and this youngster, he was just absolutely amazing. His performances were just eye-catching and really turned on the audience. And I said to myself, we need more opportunity for youngsters like him to be able to find places that they can perform professionally and earn. In my own constituency, I have a youngster who does excellent card tricks, magic, David Copperfield style.
How many cards?
No, he's really good. And I promise one day to ensure that my colleagues get the opportunity to see him, because he amazes every single person who sees him perform. He could find a place on Bay Street to be able to perform in one of the clubs or one of the restaurants or one of the hotels. We have wonderful young people with singing talent. They do extremely well. That's why karaoke is so popular in Barbados. So many of them sing so very well. They deserve an opportunity to be able to find a space in which they can bring and showcase their talent. And don't talk about those who are in drama and acting. One of the things I regret is Alleluia Pork Chops that had recently started in St. Lawrence Gap. I don't think it was able to continue, but we need more dinner theatre in Barbados, and the redevelopment of Bay Street will allow for more dinner theatre and shows to take place in that corridor to provide entertainment, not only for visitors, but for Barbadians, so that there is a variety of entertainment available to us. And this is how we are going to commercialize those talents. That those talents don't just have to be merely for entertainment when we have community situations or at NIFCA or one of the other things, but rather that they can now commercialize their talent and have a space in which they can be done. I would love to see in that corridor a lovely amphitheater where communities can actually put on concerts and charge visitors to come into that space to be able to view the performances, and that those communities could look at making money for their community projects to help people in need, to help improve the common services that they have and that they share, so that they're able to uplift their community and to be able to be a part of all that is happening within the Bay Street corridor. And one of the things that I am particularly proud about in relation to our program for Bay Street is what the Prime Minister has put in place in terms of the town planning gains that are to be derived from those who are from outside who come to invest. That they'll take a portion of that investment and they will contribute some monies to certain types of activities that are to take place in any of the underprivileged areas that border on that corridor. I had the privilege, Mr. Speaker, of going to the Heritage Walk that was coordinated by the NCF. And we started from Cavens Lane and walked through Bridgetown and went into Nelson Street. There were about 200 or 300 Barbadians who were a part of that heritage tour, that night walk tour. It was wonderful. First of all, it brought back memories. A lot of things have disappeared from our landscape. No, not that one. A lot of the things that have disappeared from our landscape, they were able to remind us that this was here and that was there, and to give us the history of the persons who were involved. It really was wonderful. But what it said to me is that within the Nelson Street area, within all of those communities that border the Bay Street development section, that there is a place for them where they can create activities that can engage both Barbadians and tourists to come into their areas and to experience a part of Barbados that they may not be familiar with, and send our visitors away with an experience that they will never forget, that will become the fabric of their memories of what Barbados was about. These are the things that I'm excited about. But we have to start now. We have to strengthen the NCF and give it more resources that they can start the work in those communities to prepare them to be able to put on those cultural entertainment shows. We need to do the work to prepare the spaces, get many of those people who reside there to see what are some of the business opportunities that they themselves can benefit from by being a part of whatever activity comes into that space. So, Mr. Speaker, I am excited about this. I want to see the engagement of the small business community and young entrepreneurs getting prepared, getting involved, and taking part in this Bay Street development plan, because I strongly believe that it can be an active doorway for advancement in this country, where more people can not only own a piece of the rock in terms of simply owning a home, but they can own a business, they can develop an asset, they can be a part of the business community and feel a vested interest in the well-being of this country. And the more people we can involve in that type of engagement, the better it will be for the stability of Barbados and for the future growth of our economy. I'm obliged to you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on the matter.
Honourable Member Senandra.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank those honourable members who have made the brief intervention and contribution in this debate. The honourable member for Christchurch East did make the point with respect to compensation. I would not like to say that it is a myth even though it is a fact that in terms of compensation, there are a number of outstanding matters that has come to the attention of the Ministry of Housing, or rather has come to my attention since I was Minister. But even in fairness to the last government, I would like to say that there are many instances, or most of the cases, are cases where persons have refused the compensation under Section 11 of the Land Acquisition Act. Because all that Act makes provision for is the amount that the land will fetch on the open market at the material time. And some people, or rather most of the persons who would have benefited from the provisions are persons who sometimes expect exorbitant prices, exorbitant sums as a result of the acquisition. I would not like to say whether or not this is so in this particular case, but I would like to assure the member for Christchurch East that being aware of the problems that are faced by persons whose lands have been acquired, this government has taken the decision of ensuring that the provision for the funds in terms of Section 11 of the Acquisition Act, those funds are made available. And in this particular case, the amounts which we consider to be adequate in accordance with that section has been made available. So that if the person who is entitled in this particular case agree to that sum in accordance with the Act, government would be able to effect payment immediately. And when I say immediately, we have the funds, but it may very well be that the individual or the individuals might tend to feel that they are entitled. In some cases, they want 10 times as much because it is government. And as I said, I would not want to repeat what has been said in an early debate, but in this particular case, you have a situation where the landowner objected to a valuation which is 15 times lower than the amount that they are seeking at this particular point in time. With respect to his larger point about government acquiring property from persons by compulsorily, rather, it relates back to what I've said with respect to the agreement of the compensation, because if you didn't have unreasonable landowners in situations where government has to acquire the property would be acquired by private treaty. But in most cases, you attempt to acquire the property by private treaty, and because of the fact that with private treaty, all the details must be complete and the price must be certain, you do not get the latitude of that agreement. So I would just like to make it abundantly clear that in this particular case, the issue of compensation has not been a problem, because the monies which, in accordance with the Act, we felt was adequate, has been made available in this year's estimate for payment to the landowner. Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to move that this resolution do now pass.
Question is that the resolution do not pass. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. This resolution stands passed. Honourable City Bridgetown.
Mr. Speaker, that brings us to the end of government business for the day, and consequently the end of today's sitting. I therefore beg to move that this Honourable House be adjourned until Tuesday, the 30th day of July at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.
Question is that this Honourable Chamber do stand adjourned until the 30th day of July at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. This Honourable Chamber stands so adjourned.